All right, guys. So about 4 minutes to the bell. A couple of stocks I'm watching today for the gap and go strategy. Number one, CEMP. Now this one I'm actually not going to watch because it has the 5 cent tick. So it's going to trade in 5 cent increments. It's not going to be as easy to trade. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. Next one down, IPCI. This one I'll keep on watch for a possible scalp over 280. So I'm just going to put my order right now. 2,500 shares, 282, and we'll just see how that looks. Once the market opens. So possible long there on IPCI. This is an entry over this pivot where it dropped down a little bit and then came back up. So the pivot high there is 280. So possible long over that level. PULM, also on watch. This one is starting to break that 420 resistance from yesterday here at the very end of the pre-market session. So I was hoping it would stay below that so I could get in at 420. At this point, I may do something like get in at 430 if it just kind of squeezes out of the gates and try to ride that momentum. But by getting in higher, obviously the risk is higher. So I'll be watching the pre-market highs. And we'll see if that gives us some momentum. Let's see. Those are the two that I was really watching sort of the most closely. We've got a gapper on LPTH and a gapper on SSH, but both of them are pretty light volume. So I'm not sure, SSH, the spreads right now are 50 by 450 by 475. So it's going to open way back down here, most likely. So that one's not going to be something I really care about. Let's see. So SSH, LPTH, PULM. PULM popped up and pulled back just there for a second. So there's nothing today that I'm really, really crazy about. I'll definitely be watching the high day Momo scanners to see if we get some opportunities. Just seems like it might be a little bit of a slow start, but PULM is okay and IPCI also okay. CLSD is a maybe. There was a price target, I think a JP Morgan $19 price target on CLSD, but I'm not sure because it doesn't have a lot of volume. It's a little bit more expensive, so it's kind of a maybe. So right now I'm looking at PULM, possible long over the pre-market high now of 34. So I'll just put my order at 40. And then I'm also watching IPCI for a possible long over the pre-market pivot, which is 280. And both of them look pretty good out of the gates, but I think IPCI looks a little bit better. All right, so right now IPCI is the one I'm watching over 80. So 20,000 share seller, as soon as the bell rang, they're at like 75. It's not really what we wanted to hear. Or wanted to see. Possibly over 280 for a scalp. PULM opened a little bit lower. I see a 17,000 share seller at 420. If that guy moves, I might get in for a scalp. So I want to see it go from 17 to 12 10, 9. Okay, I'm long at 20. See, as soon as I saw that seller move out of the way, I jump in at 20, at 420. Now I want to see this continue higher. There's 34. I sold half on the ask at 34 because of that, and another quarter at 35 because we saw sort of a seller there at 34 and 35. So just going to book a little bit of profit. Stop now is break even on the rest at 420. Actually, I'll stop at 419, which is just underneath the that kind of dime level. Let me switch this chart. PULM. All right, so on this one, the entry at 420 was based on seeing the level 2 there and waiting for that seller to move out of the way. The daily chart on this looks good. I like it a lot. I'm not sure we're going to get the follow through that you would like to see. IPCI is no good. That one's selling off. So we've got that first pop, which was kind of a doji candle on PULM. High, though, was 36. So there's some volume coming in, 35 by 38 on the level 2. $450 would kind of be the back of my mind first target. And if we get a clean 1 minute pullback, I would also consider adding back. I'm going to keep my stop break even on the remaining 1,250 shares. I could sell it now for $160 profit, but I'll give this a chance to open up a little bit more. Or maybe stop out at like 25 if it shows weakness. So nice break on that daily setup over 420. It broke a little bit pre-market, but then it dipped back down, and then the entry as it came back up through that level. So let's see. Looks like here we should have a pretty good chance of getting up into the 40s. Continuing to see some follow through. Hand on the trigger here. I don't know if we're going to see resistance at 4. See, all right, I'm on the ask because I see a 44,000 share seller at the $0.50. See that guy at 450, 39,000 shares. I canceled my order. I only sold like 500 shares of it. New stop is 39. I stopped out at 40. Seeing that seller there, he's kind of putting a little bit of a ceiling on the stock for right now. So I'm out of that trade. $690 after commissions on 5,000 shares. Wasn't obviously the biggest trade ever, but not bad. And 4 minutes into the day, it's definitely not a bad way to start the morning. So we'll let this pull back on the 1 minute chart. And if we get a 1 minute bull flag, then that would be a possibility for getting back in. SSH. I see it. Volume on it is kind of light. So right now, just to keep focused on PULM, we've got a high of 46. I'll put my order at 50, 450, possibly to get back in. I'm just curious whether that seller is going to be there again. So maybe let this flag out a little bit more on the 1 minute chart. Remember though, this has a strong daily chart, lots of potential. I mean, it's really no resistance until the high of $7. So that's what we like to see. We're above our moving averages, but it doesn't mean it's going to work. And this doesn't have a fresh catalyst. See, now there's a 26,000 share seller at 45. So that's kind of my concern. I mean, if he gets eaten up, and it looks like he is, but then you've got 10,000 shares at 50 here, 8,000. So it's kind of seeming a little bit thicker at the moment, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. So, yes, this is a clean 1 minute setup on the 1 minute chart with an entry over 43, first candle to make a new high. But then when you have the issue of the level 2 seeming a little thick, it can make you pause. And in this case, maybe that was a mistake. Obviously, it's up 15 cents, 10 cents from that 43 entry. So at this point, I'd probably switch gears to trading the first 5 minute pullback. I mean, I might take the second 1 minute pullback if it's clean, but I want to make sure I take the low risk, high reward potential setups.